What's going on, guys? It is Proper Royals Live. It's the summertime. I got a solo show tonight. Just you and me hanging out. Proper Royals content. Gonna have a little bit of fun. And you guys got to give me some ideas to talk about. I have lots of thoughts, though. Let's get to it. Thanks for hanging out tonight. Hey, it's 8 o'clock on the East Coast. It is 7 o'clock here in sunny Minnesota. I think I've mentioned it before on this show, but it is amazing. I'm still like just as a Florida boy, like I am amazed at how long the days are. And I realize that we're past the solstice, but it's only like a day or two or whatever, a week or two. The days are so long. Like there's daylight. Like I went and walked Lucy for, 30, 45 minutes after the show last Tuesday night, and the sun was just starting to set. Like, it's crazy. Anyway, I don't know why I bothered telling you that other than I just feel like saying it's some adjective Minnesota. So tonight it's sunny Minnesota. Welcome. I hope that you're well. I am doing well. It's a solo show. I will have guests back next week. One of my papers is a list of invitees, but I can't tell them to you yet because they haven't confirmed, you see. So that's kind of how it goes, but I book in batches. Otherwise, I hope that you'll hang out. I hope that you will comment. I hope that you're enjoying yourself. Let's see. We got Zibs, Voodoo, Doll, Royals, Astera, Erie Reptiles. Jen, what's going on? Tyson, how are you? VA Morphs, new addition to the Patreon, the Proper Royals Patreon. Thank you very much. And Heart of the Python, thanks for being here. If there's anything that you guys have questions on, I'm more than happy to address those topics. Not to say that it's an open line Tuesday, but I will address them. First and foremost, check this out. The hardest part about doing the solo show is making sure that I represent the advertising partners, which is important, by the way. They literally keep the lights on and they keep this ad free. Notice there was no ad that you had to watch to get in here. Or if you're watching on the replay, you're going to be uninterrupted. It's fantastic. They make these things called overlays, and I was able to copy my usual advertising stuff, but it's bigger somehow. And then right before I came on, if you saw me chuckling when I came on, it's because I was playing with my seat. Look, I can. If you hadn't seen me before, you might have thought this looks a little bit normal, but having known that I should be sitting up here, I can't keep all the logos there with a straight face. So take care of those advertising sponsors. I am going to relate to some of them throughout the show, but I'm not going to leave that up there. It's just distracting the whole way, right? So, but take good care of those advertisers. It's a win-win for the advertisers and for you all. You all don't get the interruption of the ads in YouTube and Google. And what you do hear pitches from, which is me representing the advertisers, it all comes from people in our industry that are investing in our industry and supporting our industry rather than Thompson's deck seal that has nothing to do with our inventory or industry that Google would just insert because you happen to have a conversation with your wife about needing to seal the deck last week. So anyhow, there you go. Big thanks to them. Make special note, right? Well, bam. Sundog Serpents, newest advertising partner on Proper Royals Live. That's Sarah and Josh. They've been great friends dating way back to my Florida days, early in my Florida days. And Sarah and I actually vended in Orlando together a couple times, I believe, certainly once, I think twice though. And they're doing awesome things, amazing things. TSK Clown Project stuff. That TSK is an Xanthic line. If you happen to not wish for the VPI line that I happen to use. Also, they're doing killer asphalt stuff too. Check out the segment that they had on Billy's Mutation Creation Patreon Spotlight. I'm starting with them. I'm not going to do the whole pitch right now. I am getting to a point. The reason that slot opened up, and I don't want to speak for the prior advertiser. It's Trevor at Ball Labs, and he's great. We're great. We're good friends. No problem. Business is business. Why I bring any of it up is the legislation in Colorado that I don't want to speak for Trevor, so I'm not saying anything of what he's doing or not doing. He can speak for himself, but I know that legislation changed the landscape enough that he felt that he could not advertise with me anymore, that it did not make sense to advertise with me anymore. So when we hear of reptile restrictions, regulations, overly prohibitive, overreaching regulations, it affects the whole industry. That's clients that Cold Blooded Cafe can't sell to anymore, that Redline's not going to be shipping for anymore, that people aren't going to be sending to shed testing. What about us? That's a whole state of buyers that's going to have a challenge buying from and really there's kind of a small circle of people that not only that watch the show, but really like people that watch the show either are hobbyists or full business breeders. We need customers, and most of the customers that we need are us. We're selling to each other, right? I'm making something cool with some jeans that you want. You're not buying it just because it looks cool. You're buying it because you can use it in future projects and you think it'll advance you. It takes hobbyists and industry participants to have those buyers and to have that tier of buying in the industry that we all rely upon. And that's what the Colorado legislation is going to hit the hardest. It won't hit pet owners particularly hard, but breeders, hobby breeders, anybody doing anything of any scale. And I mean, to work a project, you need quite a bit of scale, really. So that's been really on my mind, really front and center. I'm thrilled to have Sundog Serpents here. They had been a longtime sponsor on Proper Cup of Joe, but that legislation in Colorado is scary to me. Let me get rid of these. There we go. That's a bit of a distraction. That's a cleaner. That looks better, right? But I'm not one to just complain without solutions. And so I bring it to you guys tonight because I don't have at this point. I'm mostly just belly aching and complaining. I don't know what action to take. I don't know how we make this better. I feel that I know that the answer is livestock and agriculture lobbies have more money and, quote, better lawyers, but I think we have very good lawyers. So do we not have the money that it takes to fight the case just in Colorado? In my non-legalese mind and maybe caveman mind, I don't know. These regulations don't apply to livestock, cows and sheep, etc. To me, it seems, and I hate this, it seems so hypocritical, like the uneven application or the unequal enforcement or regulation or lack thereof under the law is maddening. And at the scale that they're talking about, it's essentially livestock. It's not food, but it is animals at production scale. And so it's a different set of laws, and it's put under pet enclosure laws. I'm not advocating that it should be under livestock or agriculture. I don't know enough about all that stuff. What I know is, though, there's an unequal application of animal A to animals B, C, D, and there's very little concern for species specificity and need and all of that. So if anybody has any ideas or knows, again, I don't deal in this stuff. Maybe you know Colorado politicians. This doesn't take effect until January 1st, 2027. It's a year and a half away, but it has been voted law. And I guess at this point, I believe it is imminent law. If it's not already the law, just the enforcement would begin on January 1st, 2027. My hope is that there's appeals time in there. My hope is that there should be at least one more legislative session, given that it's more than a year away, to where that could be amended or changed or revoted on. If you know people in empower government lawmakers in Colorado. The coolest thing about the internet and this day and age of podcasting or live shows reaching nation and worldwide is that you can reach such an amazing audience. Who knows who can pass this on to who knows how these things are fought. It's maddening. And the problem is every time that something like that takes effect, it sets another precedent for another state or another municipality to adopt. A little bit concerning. What is this? Chris is giving me a hard time about being solo. Okay, go more than twice a month and let's talk. All right. I think the image is good. I have stuff. I have a show. I have thoughts. People come to hear me, man. That's what I have to say about it. Let's see, Jen. I don't want to go too deep down this because I don't want to make the whole show about it. Essentially, the details of the law are in the caging, and the caging requirements are that the animal be able to fully stretch out from length to length. So if you had a retic, your cage would have to be the length of a fully, outstretched retic. And understandably and agreeably, there are some species that makes sense for. There's other species that it's completely overkill. And there's other species that we know quite a lot about that if you put that species in a massive cage, it's not going to eat, it's going to stress out, it's going to suffer, and it's going to die a slow, painful death. So that stuff drives me absolutely insane. It's called PACFA, PACFA. PACFA is the Pet Animal Caging something act, and that's Colorado is the state where that's going. So anyhow, that's scary to me. I don't want to over dramatize things, but I think it's all too easy for us to go, well, thank God it's not in my state, and we go on. Having lived in Florida for quite some time and experiencing what life is like there with FWC, it still is kind of fresh in my mind. I'm thankful for the oversight that oversees reptiles in Minnesota is the DNR, Department of Natural Resources. They are very collaborative. The Herp Society is run by some of the employees of the DNR. It's amazingly collaborative, but I don't think that that's in every state, and those sorts of things can change. So it does concern me. Anyhow, if anybody has any ideas, let me know. What's up, Jeremy? I was wearing your trusty old t-shirt all day today, but I got it filthy. So I had to change. What do we got here? Interesting. The old adage in retail is like summer is just a downtime. In retail, you're not particularly animal retail. If you're out at the cabin for 3 weeks on the lake, you're probably not buying a new animal. You're not buying a pet. You're not buying the supplies that go for the pet, all of that kind of stuff. So the adage is that the summer months are just downtimes. June, and maybe it's a small sample size. It's just one. June just finished my second best month of the year to date out of 6. So 2 out of 6, not too bad. And it just comes in spurts. I can't figure it out. I can't make heads or tails of it. This is going to lead into another topic in just a moment, but like, I don't know. What are you guys seeing out there? I know that the LA Pet Fair was this weekend. I got good reports that it was really, really busy. I heard from some friends that their sales were okay, but the people that they were vending with were smashing it. So make what you want of it. They did say that the pet market is definitely where the strong point is right now. So probably a little bit of a higher volume and figuring out that sweet spot of where you can make it on pet grade stuff. And I hate to admit it, you don't have to tell the world, but sometimes you can sell some of the higher end stuff that's a het such and such as a pet. You could sell it without the extra het information, and sometimes you have to. you might not want to put it in the record books on Morph Market, but that is something that happens. It's sometimes you just got to keep the lights on and move animals. But I thought it was interesting that again, June, I wouldn't say I struggled through, but I kind of struggled through. Last week of the month, shot right up. This morning, there's a thin line between June 30th and July 1st. This morning, right out of the gate, I sold 2 snakes this morning. I don't know. I'm always led back to the old just show up and do the work kind of thing, but God, I like trying to figure things out. And I can't quite accept that it's just a show up and do the work kind of deal. So I don't know. I hope that you guys are having a good summer, or if you purposely take the pedal off or take the foot off the gas pedal, I hope you're relaxing and enjoying it. I know that if you're like me, I'm looking at my rack of snakes over there. The production is, I seem to get like a late spring production, and then I have this lull, and then I'll do another, 20, 30 clutches between now and the end of the year. So it's kind of a built-in lull, but I don't know. I was moving animals from 2024 all this month in June. I only had one show this month as well, and that, gosh, I've already forgotten it. I think it was the Eau Claire, Wisconsin show. Not a big show by any means. It might have been, I take it back. It might have been the Cold Blooded Expos show, which is a pretty sizable show. It wasn't massively successful for me, but it wasn't a letdown. But I moved a lot. I did do a PalmStreet auction this past Sunday. And obviously, I'm a fan of PalmStreet. I work with PalmStreet. Let's lay the chips on the table. So I might have bias built in, but I did, and I'll just give you the facts and tell you what I think about it. But whether you enjoy PalmStreet or not, I'll tell you the reasons why I think you should. But whether you do or not, I thought it was it sparked an interesting thought in my mind, and it goes back a little bit to what I was just talking about with the Colorado PACFA laws as well. What sparked in my mind was, well, let me tell you about the experience first. So I sold 15 snakes, and I started them. I advertised that I would start them all at a $20 starting bid. So I had some proven breeder males. We know those are difficult to get to move out. I have a bit of a philosophy that says, yeah, it might be worth this according to the genes, but if that snake has already sired 10 clutches, have I made my money from that snake? I think I have. So then it's sort of a matter of just take what I can get and go on. Oh yeah. You know what? I'm going to tie that in a minute too, Jen. We're going to come back to that. So anyway, I probably let go of some of those breeder males for less than I would normally have wanted to, or philosophically what I think I should. But like I say, if I think of the work that they've done and the money that they've made me elsewhere, it's fine. Let them go, move along. They're good. It's one less mouth to feed. It's less sales effort. It's a lot of effort to sell, like to actively sell a snake. Here's all the reasons this is amazing. Here's why you need this, blah, blah, blah. Move it on. So I had some of those. I had clowns that were okay. I mean, they were visual clowns. There was a pastel clown. I know, not that biggest amazing animal. Visual clowns. And then some like spot nose het clowns. And I go through all this because I got, they all sold, and they were not for much. I mean, I think the average price was $80 to $100. Not a bad Sunday afternoon's worth of work to clear out the bins. What was interesting to me, two things. I started, and I can't remember the second one, but very, very specifically, I had a het clown male. Look, we're all rolling our eyes collectively, live and on the replays. Everybody's like, yeah, het clown male. I started it for $1, and I made the bid increment $1. That snake sold for $57 plus shipping. That wasn't shipping included. $57 plus shipping. Before we all crap on those buyers, for one, it wasn't one person that kept outbidding themselves to $57. Those were bids. It was a $1 increment. There were several people bidding on that up to that dollar amount. So two thoughts. One, people will still buy animals because they think that they're cool. Two, the dollar start. I don't know if I got the, I try and keep it a family show. I don't know if I got the stomach to start all of my auctions at $1, but man, so after that one, I did another one that was like a visual clown or something better. And I started it at $1. Yeah. Okay. Here we go. Crystal sees it. So I did another one starting at $1, and that thing went off the charts relative to what it should. I'm not saying that you should build a business model where you make het clowns and hope to get $57 for them. That's not my point. What I wasn't intrigued in, though, is that's an animal that, let's be honest, in our industry, I'm not saying I do, but in our industry, that's an animal that might end up in a freezer, that might end up getting fed to a cobra, that you might hope to get $10 to $15 for at a wholesale for a big box, or at a pet show that you probably gladly let go for $25, $30, $35. So I don't know that PalmStreet wants to be known as the Het Clown Clearinghouse, and I certainly don't want it to be known as that. However, what a great outcome and great return on that. So let's dig in a little bit on that. I advertised for 2 weeks ahead of time, and I pushed it. I did. You guys probably saw it on my stories. I was posting on Instagram a lot. I figured out how to include the link in my story so that people could just click on it. I ended up getting like 125 people click the notification bell. The stats said total 367 people ended up viewing it. Now, that doesn't mean that they stayed there. The highest viewership was around 87 or so. And I know some of you watched it. So I think that you guys could, you could check me or add in your commentary. Some of those things seem to be the magic numbers. You get enough people in the room, you get enough excitement on the bidding, it starts to go pretty well. Now, I'll tell you, the Super Gravel male proven breeder, I think he went for like $150, way less than I wanted him to go for. However, those bottom end ones that were usually, again, we're giving away, we're letting go. PalmStreet doesn't have an overhead. You don't have to pay for it. They take a percentage of your sales, but up front, there's no overhead. You don't pay anything unless you make money, and then it's only a portion of what you make. So that I really liked that. But here was my aha moment. I wonder. Oh, the other thing that ties into what I'm about to say. On PalmStreet right now, and I've worked at it for 2 or 3 months, but not that hard, not very long. I've got 570 followers on PalmStreet. Now, I've really targeted all the ball python. If I see something that says morph, ball python, exotics, serpents, I'm probably following that person and hoping that they follow me, and I'll do some commenting and I'll interact with them. But I'm starting to get, to Jen's point a moment ago, I'm starting to get followers with names like, I don't know what a Hoya is, but apparently it's a type of plant. And I'm starting to get followers that are like Hoya Mom, Plant Addict 49, and I'm seeing a lot of overlap. So of the people that bought from me, I would say most of them are hobbyist breeders or real enthusiasts. But it's certainly a handful of them. It was their first time buying an animal on PalmStreet, and it was quite evident that they had been buying other things on PalmStreet. So there's a new audience there, and here's my point, and my real aha sort of inspiration. What if that's like the next way? And it doesn't even have to do with PalmStreet. It just happens to be that's a comfortable vehicle. What happens if that's the next wave of like us audience members, the people that are going to tune into this, the people that are going to buy 15, 20, 30 snakes, not all from me, but from in the community? What if that's the next wave? What if that's the next foundation? When people like to call it a pyramid, which I disagree with, but for the sake of the analogy, what if that's the foundation? And what if that's a great way to get in at ground level? I've been on Morph Market and this is not downing Morph Market. The competition is much stiffer there. That's where all the big dogs are. That's where all the breeders are. But on Morph Market, I think I have like 420, 450 followers. On PalmStreet, I already have 570. I think there's something there. And I think even more importantly, and this is where I was getting to the point of, it doesn't have as much to do directly with PalmStreet specifically as this mentality. What are we doing to grow the game, so to speak? What are we doing to bring new enthusiasts in? What are we doing to ride the wave of companies like Chewy or PalmStreet that are investing millions into the reptile industry? Maybe not millions, lots and lots and lots of money though. Millions into their platform, and their platform is welcoming reptile people. What are we doing to get front and center in front of those new faces first? Because we all know, sure, most people just buy them as pets, but it's not that uncommon. 1 in 10 buyers will be the ones that buy 5 or more, and then they suddenly learn what a rack system is, or they suddenly want to understand, hey, what's this thing I bought that's this het thing? Oh, I could put it with something else that's this, and I can get that, and that sort of thing. I like that. We got to talk about that. So I like this idea that we have to grow the industry, grow the hobby. There's this new set of eyes. And to Jen's point about the plants being her new obsession, these plant people like their things. They like stuff too. They already got the itch. They got the gene in them, whatever that is. They're converting. The gecko people have seen it. The gecko people are making a fortune on PalmStreet. Now it's a little sweeter price point, and they understand that. But there's a lot of ball pythons. Like if you had said 2 years ago, before we had Morph Market auctions or PalmStreet, hey, what if you could move out all your wholesale animals really, really reliably and for more than typical wholesale price? Holy cow, the world would have exploded. You remember how much we used to talk about that crap? Like, it's a really valuable thing. We could put the best combo clowns together. We're still gonna make some male clowns, or to advance, we all know that we got to make hets, which means we're gonna get hets. Where do those animals go? They should go to. What if we could get more than wholesale for them, and they could go to loving homes that become future enthusiasts? There's my pitch. I'm liking that. The sunk cost fallacy is interesting. I've been saying interesting a lot tonight. I'm going to pick a new word. The sunk cost fallacy has always been something that I've studied and thought about. It is the hardest thing for a human to go, I've already spent the money, or I've already made the money. It's done. It's gone. We stick so much with, got to recoup my money. It's only $1 more. You get 5 people saying it's only $1 more. The price goes up. And if they all say it at the same time, then it's only $1 more on $6 or $8 or whatever it is. I struggle with it. I hate accumulating stuff. I don't like extra stuff. From running a business standpoint, extra inventory more than I need immediately is a liability. The bag can break, the crap can spill everywhere. It could get infested. It could go stale. Somebody could steal it. I could put it somewhere and I forget that I put it there. And so I may as well not actually even have it in the first place, because I'm not going to remember it for 2 years. All of those things are arguments for why we shouldn't have stuff, especially in business. But we have this sunk cost mentality of, well, I paid for it. I better get something for it. I better put it to use. I better breed it. I own it. May as well breed it. Get rid of it. If it's not the right stuff, if you don't need it right away, get it on out of there. Jeremy says Strawberry Fields. No idea. Couldn't tell you. Jen says, I think the common thread between plant people and reptile people is there's a certain type of person that likes to get really nerdy about, genetics, biology, the variety of species. I think there's this idea too that we could care and sort of propagate and maybe even play God a little bit, which is kind of fun. And No offense to anybody. I don't literally mean it that way. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe I do. It's still like magic to me that we could take a het pied and a pied and predictably pop out pieds. Like, it's magic that I'm like, there's going to be a pied in that egg because I did the calculations to put these things together. It still is at the very, very core what I really, really love about doing this stuff. Check this out. We're gonna pay a few bills. Look at that, and just pop it up for a minute. Only a couple minutes. There's no other ads. I'm not even going to stop the content. I'm just going to pop it up there for a second. Is it? It's so distracting. I got to figure out how to fit it better. But I'm innovating because the solo show really lets down the advertisers, but they're the ones that keep it going well. That actually leads into something that I've thought of. I think I'm just becoming the old dude, and that's all right because that happens. And if really, we're lucky if we get to grow old. So I'm well on my way. I'm losing my hair. I'm growing it longer to cover the hair that I'm losing. I've fully embraced it. This is great stuff going on. Not the aha moment, but the thing that I'm embracing more and more is, and this comes from a guy called Mark Manson. He wrote the Subtle Art of Not Giving an F, and I've come around to his point of view. I like his point of stoicism, and it really just kind of a simple rudder through life, and it's not complicated. But he said something to the effect of, what if all success, or even just getting through life, is just taking honest feedback, being able to take honest feedback, implementing change, and doing the work? Like, do you know how long I could have sat here and gone, it's not perfect. I'm not going to pop that thing up. Instead, I just made a decision. Now I'm giving myself feedback because I could see it. It's not great. I'm going to implement the change. I'll do the work. And then I'm going to have an answer next time, instead of having to email the advertisers and say, well, I owe you another week. No, we're innovating. You guys are checking it out. And it's so much so. So my son has been helping me around the shop these summertime days where he's not in school. He's 13. And as you guys can probably imagine, if you leave a 13-year-old boy to his own devices with no rudder, just swirling in the summertime ocean of video games and no structure after just getting out of 7th grade, it's just a recipe for a train wreck. So our deal is that he works a couple half days a week for me. And I found myself the other day, like, saying to him, like, hey, just start getting good at taking feedback and implementing change, because that's really all that life is. And I was like, oh my God, I've become the old man, and like, how cynical too. Because in my mind, I'm like, at this point, I'm like, screw expertise, screw what corporate America has done to me or turned me into. Had I just been willing to be an entrepreneur, listen to my customers, get good at taking brutal feedback and implementing change, and then going back and doing the work, I think I would be a happier person and less cynical. Maybe I had to go through the rough times to land here where I am. So today I pulled up to the new shop, and there's a guy pulling into the car wash, and he's cool. He's a nice guy. He did it. He was very nice. He is. I am not an old man compared to that gentleman. He rolls down his window. He says, hey, are you the new owner? I said, yes, sir, I am. He says, I got to tell you, I'm wildly disappointed, very disappointed. And I said, I'm sorry to hear that. How can I help you? He says, I'm laughing at the situation of where I'm at in my life, and that this is the biggest thing that somebody's disappointed in. I'm not laughing at his disappointment. He put his money into the Pine Tree air freshener dispenser, and it was out of inventory, and there's no way on that archaic machine for it to tell you that it's out of inventory. So it kept his, I don't even know what I charge for those things. I'm embarrassed to say. I don't know, it was 50 cents or 75 cents. Anyway, it kept that. And I said, you know what? Let me make it up to you. And then he asked me to put his money in the coin changer for him because he couldn't get his eyes to adjust properly to where he could do that on his own. So I took care of that for him. And I got not one, but 2 Black Ice Pine Tree air fresheners popped them in his hand, and I said, here's one that you purchased and here's one for your trouble. And I think that guy's going to be a customer for a while. I think he was pretty happy. He was pretty blown away. So like, take the feedback, implement the change, and get on with doing the work. I don't know why I felt the need to share that, but sometimes like just an oversimplification of things, like just puts some things in perspective. I also had a moment of like, speaking of perspective, this I feel like I should share because a lot of you guys know my story. I worked in restaurants for like 26 years, got through COVID. Memorial Day of 2021 was on the horizon in February. And I was so unhappy. And I just looked around and I said, this isn't for me anymore. And I stepped out. I didn't go directly from that to buying car washes and selling snakes and eking by a living. I didn't. I still consult. I still work in that field, but I don't work in operations anymore. And I'm slowly but certainly moving away to where this and the animals will be. It already is the primary thing I do, but it will be the thing that I do. But it's so anxiety ridden sometimes. And I was talking about like sales in June. I didn't know what to make of them all. They're up, they're down. There's all the anxiety that goes with it. And sometimes I forget to just take a step back and look at the massive big picture. And my version of the massive big picture that I haven't talked about in a long time, so maybe some of y'all haven't heard this before. If you thought I was crazy before and you haven't heard this, you're now going to think I'm clinically insane. But in 2016, I decided I was going to devise a plan to retire early, and that I could not see myself grinding it out in restaurants till I was 65. Little did I know I wasn't going to make it past 41 in restaurants doing it. But the idea was, hey, it's great to have this idea, but if you don't have like benchmarks and accountability, how the hell are you ever going to meet this amazing dream and goal that you have? So I set about to writing a net worth spreadsheet that literally tracks every asset that I have and every liability that I have. And it gives me an up to the minute net worth at any time that I want to update it, including daily with the ups and downs of the stock market and all of that. And I hadn't done that in about 6 months. Not to turn things political whatsoever, but to state as a fact, the markets have been a little crazy. We're not used to what's going on right now. We can think that's good. We could think that's bad. I actually don't care. I care a little bit, but I don't really care as much as people might think that I do, because it's beyond my control. I can't control it. All I could do is live within it and try and thrive the very best that I can and make the best moves that I can. And that is how we get by day to day. When it comes time to vote, I might have a different opinion and I'll vote with a different set of emotions and mindsets. But day to day, how I get through things is, what world are we in and how can I make the most of it? Well, it hadn't been a very opportune time for me to update my net worth statements when I was already feeling anxious. My sales year over year are down about 5% as well, which isn't, I mean, that's within kind of a margin of error or a margin of a really good one snake. So it's not that crazy, but I didn't need to keep adding to my dread and my, not angst, what's the word? Just, general paranoia or psychosis. So I hadn't filled out my net worth statement in quite some time. And why I did the other night, I have no idea. But I was like, I need to update this. Actually, I do know why. Sometimes you just have to stare down, no matter how good or bad things are. Just stare it down, get the truth, and get on with life. Make your adjustments, implement the change, take the feedback, go do the work. I was like, all right, let's see where we're at. I couldn't believe it. I'm actually ahead of where my goal was to be at this time. And I'm exceeding the pace that I wanted to be. And I don't say that to brag. I say that I get so caught up in these little moments of panic. Oh, it's a tough week. June is giving me a hard time. My super gravel didn't sell for as much as I wanted it to on PalmStreet. Do all the big stuff right and kind of let the chips fall, because something's going to be up and something's going to be down. I can't predict what, and they're not correlated. The snake market's tough, but my retirement plans have, I think the S&P grew 5% or something in June, which is a massive amount for 1 month of the S&P to grow. So do the right things, get the right things in place, and then just look at the big picture sometimes and give yourself a break. There you go. That's my thoughts. What do you guys want to talk about? If you guys want to talk about something, let me know. This Sunday, I'll be on with Jeremy Warfels on Sunday night, 8:00 Eastern on Warfels channel. If you're not watching him or you haven't checked him out in a while, you should. It's a cool show. It's evolved to where it's a group of guys on there now. Jeremy's still the primary host, and it's still his show. But the guys that he has on there with him are very cool, and I'll be on hanging out with them on Sunday night. I have no idea what we're talking about. The beauty of being a guest on someone else's show is that's their responsibility to figure out. I just get to show up and hang out. Oh yeah, that's interesting. Jen says, now that you aren't doing a job that you hate, would you still have the same target retirement date? Wow. I'm not as firm in it. So yeah, to your point, before it was like, all right, how do I get to where I need to be and get the hell out as fast as possible? Turns out I jumped the gun and I didn't get to where I do not have retirement kind of money. But I did get out of there. That was just going to be unhealthy, doing that for decades longer. So for reference, I'm 45 now. I am pretty darn excited about what I'm doing for certainly for the next 10-ish years. And then I say that right now, I don't know, check with me in 10 years. We'll see. Right now, I'm very excited for doing that for the next 10-ish years, but then I'll be 55, still healthy, youthful, exuberant person, I'm sure. But between 55 and 60, I feel like the real clock starts ticking. On the one hand, I think that this idea of, if we stop and think about the idea of retirement, what a luxury. In the history of humans, this idea of retirement is just a very recent drop in the bucket. And in a lot of places in the world, it still doesn't exist. So it's a real luxury. With all that being said, I like the idea of it. I want to screw around and not do much. But I say that, but I'm not good at sitting still. I'm not good at not chasing things. I'm a bit of a terrier chasing chipmunks, I got to be doing, look at these Tuesday nights. I do it every freaking week in and week out. So I would have to be doing something, but I was talking with my wife the other day. So we live in Minnesota. I think you guys know that. The summers are absolutely glorious here. The winters are tough and they have a certain charm to me right now. But I think by the time I'm, let's say 12 to 15 years from now, when I'm knocking on 60, I do not ever want to see a snow shovel ever again, or have to worry about who's going to plow my driveway and all of that. No, thank you. The cities in this brutal north, they have these really cool things. A lot of the buildings are connected to where Skyways or Chicago is underground. A lot of the buildings are all connected. And they're connected to the arenas. They're connected to trains, to the airport. And you could effectively live in a wintertime in a downtown condo, but never actually, they're connected to the restaurants, all that. You would very little, you wouldn't need a car for the winter, and you wouldn't need to go outside. You could go, we went to some show, it might've been Monday Night Raw, I forget. But we're all bundled up in coats and all that. And then you see people walk in and shorts and their walking shoes. And I'm like, who is this? And I'm like, oh yeah, you live in one of the connected condos. So, my Yeah, that's true too, Jen. My thought was this house, once my son moves out, we don't need this big house anymore. It's a pretty good size house. And I'd say that thankfully, but if I could sell this house and get a cabin on a lake and then the downtown city condo for the house, I would do that in an instant. The problem is I wouldn't have a place for I guess I would still have the car wash. I don't think I could take care of the snakes and do that. So my retirement, I think, this is just my working model. I'd love to build up Proper Royals enough to where somebody could either work to become an owner in it, work to become a partner. And as I eventually age and phase myself out, that it becomes theirs. Now that could work with the cabin downtown condo model. By then I could have somebody that's working at they're taking ownership in it. They've got a stake in it. And it can go on, or eventually they buy me out or they pay. I don't know how it all works, but I'm just thinking out loud. Like, I'd love to have my hands in it a little bit, but doing what I'm doing right now, I probably would extend. I think that my number before was like 57 or something like that. I could see myself doing this to 60. I think. I don't know. Maybe I'll lose interest, but I don't think so. One of the reasons I also was thinking about this week. One of the reasons I don't lose interest is there's potential for something brand new in every one of those eggs that either I've never seen or worked with or never dreamt I could, or that's never been done before. So like if I was making guitars, I think I would like it, but I think I'd get bored. I mean, it's 12 frets. It's the same math. The frets, you can't just be like, oh, let me put a fret in a different place. You can't do that. You could do different woods and all that. I mean, there is creativity to it, but it's essentially the same instrument that you're popping out. Not these. I like that. So there's my thought. Yeah, I'm less eager for the super early retirement. And Jen, you're right. I do suck at not having goals. It actually is a little bit of a problem. It gets me in over my head. That's me though. Guys, take care of the advertisers. I've said that a couple times. Also, one that's not on here, but is very important to the Proper Royals family and a huge supporter of Proper Cup of Joe is Cold Blooded Cafe. Proper 11, that code now gets you free shipping on any orders over $200. And that's forever. That's not a one-time code anymore. That is forever. Some updates from the advertisers that you might be interested in. Shedtesting.com. I just got to say there's cool stuff on the horizon. I can't say any more. Talk about somebody who sucks at not having goals and who does not sit still. Charlie's out there crushing it. Thanks to Charlie, he delivered a shed test result to me the other night. I think the day that he got the sheds. I got a few more coming. I'm finally, those of y'all that have been following, I'm finally getting some of the POS, the 66% head ultramels out of the clowns and the super inchy clowns. Those will be back in the next day or two or whenever Charlie gets them to me, but he's so fast. I don't even worry about it. I didn't even realize the sheds had gotten there when he started sending results back to me. So if you want to use Charlie at shedtesting.com, I highly recommend it. Use the promo code PROPER15 for 15% off of 2 orders. Lace, Monarch, Hurricane, and Monsoon are all live right now. Check out Portuguese Pythons. They just came back from the LA Pet Fair, I think it is. That's that massive show. Speaking of Ultramel, if you're into Ultramel, check out their Ultramel Puzzle, Ultramel Clown, Ultramel Pied projects. They're also working some true ghost projects with killer dark jeans in the middle. I have 3 clutches of Ultramel Pied combos coming this year from stock that I got from them. I'm so excited. All the roads lead right back to them. Who have I missed? Oh, Reagan Renee Royal Pythons, the 15 Minutes of Lame defending undefeated champion. He's working Kryptons, DG, G-Stripe, Candy, Pied, Candy and Pied, Clowns, singles, doubles, and triples. You should check out Charlie's Morph Market right now. And last but not least is Chris at BNS Reptilia. He is Reptilia because he's working ball pythons, blood pythons, locality boas, colubrids of all shapes and sizes, Pituophis, and he is my business partner at Tinley. He will be there with me in October, and he will have the bull and the pine snakes again, as well as some boas. Who knows what all he'll bring to Tinley. Go check them out. These are the guys that keep the lights on for me. So thank you all very, very much. I appreciate it. Let me see if I have missed any announcements, any thank yous. Oh, you know what? One big thank you. You guys, this is not something that I did. I was a part of it, but you guys made this happen. This week, if you remember a little while back, there was a show that the Harbins were on, and a bunch of y'all threw a bunch of money into the super chats. And I said, I'll make up the YouTube fees. All the money that gets thrown into the pot will go to the Dr. Tom Harbin Scholarship Fund. That was that circle was completed this week. That donation was made. I did not update it before the show. I'll update it right afterwards. All the advertisers links are down below, but also the Dr. Tom Harbin Scholarship Fund at the University of Auburn, benefiting scholarships for reptile vet students. So what a great legacy for Dr. Tom Harbin. And you guys were able to make that possible this week. That money went out this week. Also, some money that went out, Adrian Hoverter, Adrian's Creations, Adrian's Reptile, or Adrian's Exotic Creations. Adrian's Creations, certainly on Instagram. Adrian was on discussing his current battle with cancer. If you guys want to drop him a line, let him know that you're thinking of him, that you're supporting him. You guys threw some cash in the bucket that night too. That money got over to Adrian, and he decided to donate that to some cancer research causes, which I thought was a pretty selfless act, because really the whole idea was that he and his wife go do something nice, because we want to support the person with cancer, but the caregiver to the people going through their cancer battles are saints, and they often get forgotten about, and they need all the love and the care in the world so they could continue to give love and care to that person who needs them the most. And that was really my goal, because those of y'all that know me, I lost my mother to cancer this summer, will be 15 years ago. There's some things you can control and that you can't control. But one of the things that you can control is how you care for each other and how you care for those people that are bringing care to the world. Anyway, I wanted Adrian and his wife to go do something nice, which sometimes people forget to do. And it's hard to do when you're staring down cancer. And he still donated it and gave it away. So anyway, show him some love. But those all came to fruition and got done this week. I don't say that to brag. I say it to say thank you, and that's why I didn't post it or make a big deal of it. But those monies were delivered this week. Like I say, Sunday night I'll be on Warfels with Jeremy. Two big events this week. The first snakes have moved into the car wash. It's real. It is now officially a reptile and rodent facility. This rack, if I get my jobs done this time next week, that rack will be gone because it will be in the new facility. I'm going to have to turn this into a little stronger studio space. I'm not going to have the ambiance of the racks anymore. So that's there. Any of you guys that are local, you can't just pop by, but set up an appointment with me. I'll be glad to give you a tour. If you're looking for ASFs, the production is just about ready for me to take on new customers. But that was pretty cool. I moved the new snakes in this week. The second occasion that was new and different, I got a visit from the local constable today. The Lonsdale Police Department came by, and it was actually pretty cool. He says, for all new businesses, we want to have an emergency contact. We want to know who to get in contact with, anything special that you need. It was pretty cool, and it was a really nice community outreach thing. We were outside in the parking lot having a conversation. It wasn't intrusive whatsoever. And they really came by to get the information about the car wash, but we were standing outside of the renovated, Proper Royals facility. And the officer, he says to me, I heard that there was going to be snakes in there. And I said, well, they already are. And I said, you want to see, you want a tour? And I got nothing to hide. And as I've talked about, I'm going to have to do like the community outreach stuff to be welcomed there. I realize the uphill battle I have with snakes in a public facing area. So, and I keep a low profile. It's pretty private, but still, it's a town of 4,900 people. People are going to know. So I said, yeah, you on a tour? And he's like, yeah, I'll check it out. He didn't want to hold any, but he was pretty cool to take a look and to see it. Met my son and took a look around the shop and all of that. And he said, this isn't nearly as creepy as I thought it was. I was like, all right, perfect. That is a victory today. So that happened today as well. Yeah, I think that's it. I have a note here to talk about recency bias, but that was sort of that big matter of perspective. You don't need a recency bias lecture from me. Guys, thanks for hanging out. We're going to make this a summertime episode, get you out of here at the 1 hour mark. I appreciate you hanging out. If you have any feedback, any questions, anything you want to know more about, please let me know. I always appreciate you guys for being here. I'll be back same time, same place next week. I got a new group of guests coming up. And like I say, once I get all those sorted out, just stay tuned on Instagram. I will let you know. If you are considering people to support the advertisers here that brought this to you ad-free tonight. And if you're looking for a good cause to donate to the Dr. Tom Harbin Memorial Scholarship Fund at Auburn University is a great cause. Talk to you guys soon. Thanks. Bye.